What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, with the Activision Blizzard King aftermath, the fallout, the new world that we live in, it's kind of rough for those ponies out there. It seems like they are just playing the Metacritic. They playing the Metacritic game again. And I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at Twitter, X, whatever, and it's a bunch of Spider-Man bugs. Now, I saw D-Batch put up a post, oh, these console wars, blah, 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 plastic box, blah, blah, blah. Just play the game. He's like, what did he say? Something about, oh, for the people who put the bugs on Starfield, blah, and for the people who put the bugs on Spider-Man 2, blah. And I'm like, I slap, okay? Because D-Batch is a knucklehead because he knows what's going on. This is the console war. This is part of the game. So him saying, oh, why don't you just play the game? Man, just be quiet. Because you being neutral, which he's not, he's a PC master racist. You have your own plastic box to worship. With many components. Ooh, graphics card. I love NVIDIA. Oh, I don't like AMD. It's the same thing, different wrapping. That's all. So when he comes over with his high and mighty righteousness of, the console wars is dumb, so is the PC wars. All right, so just be quiet. I listen to him because he has information, but his opinions on certain things are a little bit ridiculous. And he's like, oh, Xbox should make a Xbox Pro 2 to combat what Sony does. It's like, that's not how business works, you knucklehead. You just want, it doesn't make sense. It's like, I hope Microsoft doesn't do it. Or if they do it on the sly, sneak, and it's super cheap. Cheaper than PlayStation. Just to get them a 1-2 punch. Be like, look, it's the new Activision box. Here you go. You know what I heard? Okay. Before I go into the main topic that I was going to talk about, which is the Sony layoffs, PlayStation specifically, I wanted to talk about, I forgot who said this. I think it was on Game Scoop or something. I still listen to the IGN podcast because I got to listen to the nonsense that they spew so I can relay it to you guys and say, all right, this is what's going on. Not for information because they just regurgitate anything. So, anyway, but someone said that Microsoft should buy Sega, right? And I was like, okay, I would be okay with that because Sega's the reason why I like video games in the first place. Love video games, right? They are the reason. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. And the history is there, hardware-wise and relationship is there, right? So then someone said what they could do is take whatever the new Xbox is called and rebrand it as the Dreamcast 2 in Japan. And I said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. Because you definitely, I would probably import a Sega Dreamcast 2. Even though it's still an Xbox and I could get one here, I would probably I wouldn't import it because then I wouldn't be able to play the games really, but I would want it or something. People with their loud, man, put a muffler on that, you know what I'm saying? Get a little crappy Volkswagen. It's like, anyway. But yeah, I was like, that's not the worst idea. But I know, Xbox wants to be the brand, to be a big brand on, but it's still an Xbox. They just rebranded, it's just aesthetics. It's not really they're changing the insides or anything. Maybe they just changed the splash screen or something. And it says Sega. And then it says presented by Xbox or something like that on the bottom, like real small. Or Xbox company or something, So they still get their shine and Japan gets their Sega. I think that's a good idea. Speaking about Japan, there's a guy called Japan Hates Xbox, I think he's called, and he's a hillbilly from Arkansas, I think, or something, Arkansas, and I was so tempted to do a parody of him. Because he's just there spitting nonsense, saying really bad words about Xbox fans. And I was going to do the opposite. I was going to take word for word and just change, Xbox to Pony, Donkey Unicorn. And I guess I would say the curse words. I don't really want to. But if I were to do an accurate portrayal, I would have to. Anyway, it's cringeworthy because he's calling the Xbox fans hillbillies and all this stuff. And I'm like, he literally sounds like what he's talking about. And I'm like, look, I know plenty of people who are from the country and they got the twang and they're not hillbillies. They just have the accent, But, hillbilly is definitely a mentality. It's just like pony is definitely a mentality. Donkey Unicorn, definitely a mentality. There is a distinction between the pony and the Donkey Unicorn. They are closely related, but there is a distinction. I'm not going to go into it right now because it's not really that important. But, maybe I'll do a educational video on that with a whiteboard and everything. But anyway, into the actual topic, Jesus, which was PlayStation's having layoffs. Now, no Tom Henderson to report on the actual number. There was only, I think, 2 people who went on Twitter or they went somewhere and they posted it. Oh, I'm glad I got laid off, but I'm happy to be there. And I'm like, hold up. I'm watching this. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I understand you liking the job, but they laid you off. They fired you. They said, yo, we trying to save money. Bye. You gotta kind of feel a certain way about getting laid off. I hope you find a job. You guys are talented, so I'm pretty sure you will. This industry is always shaking and moving. But still, how come we're only hearing 2 individuals so far? Does Sony have this industry, the media especially, so much in a chokehold and a lockdown that they can't even report on layoffs on the company, on PlayStation? Because if they do, they'll get blacklisted from Sony from getting games and consoles and stuff? I think yes. I don't hear IGN reporting on it. I don't see Kotaku reporting on it. I'm just saying, it's pretty spooky out here. You're seeing all these things. You see all the evidence. Now look, it's evidence. It's like, okay, it could happen. There's no proof, but if it looks like a whore and it dresses like a whore, sounds like a whore, maybe you might mistake it as a whore. I'm just saying. That was a bad interpretation of a Dave Chappelle show. Dave Chappelle joke, excuse me, not show. It was a joke from I think it was Killing Him Softly, Killing Me. I don't remember which special it was. It was the one where he was wearing a blue shirt. It was one of his earliest ones, but it was like the first time he broke through, like for real. It was pretty good. I think it was Killing Me Softly. Anyway, it looks like these media companies are definitely biased and they're scared to lose access to free games. If they had integrity, which they don't, because honestly, these media outlets are all about their bottom line. So if they can save money on not having to buy these games, then there you go. Or they can get the games early so they can do reviews. There you go. The problem with reviews is that if they are biased and they're biased, like say towards Sony, but then the game comes out and there's mad bugs like Spider-Man, consumers are going to look at that and say, oh, okay, y'all are full of shite. Look at, and it doesn't make the game look any better if there's all these bugs and stuff. It doesn't make your site look any better. People are still going to buy it because of Spider-Man. But at the same time, I've heard many people talk about this game and they're saying, yeah, it's a technical achievement. It's the best game technically that Insomniac has made, but it's the same old song. It's the same old thing. doing these missions. You fight a bunch of guys. You zip zoop out of there. You find another spot. You find some more guys. You beat them up. Zip zoop out of there. You rinse and repeat. Like I said, Insomniac improved on the things that they could, which were presentation-wise. I don't want to say storytelling, but I think it does have to do with storytelling, how they present the story. So yes, they have improved on those things, but those are all the things that tie into the cinematic experience, not so much the gameplay itself. The gameplay itself is basically the same. Nothing has really changed. They have these cinematic type of QTE events, which are cool, but the problem with those is they are one and done. They're bespoke. So you go, you thwip on the truck that the lizard's chasing, that's dragging around, and you're going up a building. I've seen that clip. Is it different every time you play it? Can you go up on a different building or something? I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. But I would say that it's probably exactly the same time. So those events lose their power. They lose their specialness once it's done. It's a one and done type of thing. Just like the whole game is one and done. The fact that there's no New Game Plus at launch is an issue. But it's not going to help or save the game down the line, because who's going to go back and play that game again? Ponies and donkey unicorns. But real people who like have a whole bunch of games that they got to play, they're not going back. Now, why would you go back when you got multiple 100-hour games just chilling, ready for you to jump back in? I'm still not finished Starfield. I got to the part where you do the New Game Plus, and I said, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna work on this a little bit more. So that's like I said, it's one of the forever games until they come up with something better. And there are definitely a lot of improvements they could do with Starfield, but you know, that's for another talk. I'll go into that. I have some ideas. As far as right now with the score that I would give it, I said I said a 9 before. I'm gonna give it an 85. I'm gonna give it an 85. Boom, that's the score, 85. Yeah, that seems like a fair score, because with all the things that they've done not so great, they've done some things that are so great that it's like, you know what, I could just play this right here in this game forever. And it's crazy. Even Angry Joe liked the shipbuilding, which is one of the highlights of that game. And there's other things that they could do within that game to improve it, to kind of answer the concerns of people. But anyway, you know, whatever. Starfield is number 1 on sales, and Spider-Man, I hope it's number 1. I mean, if it's not, then that's the issue. But I'm just saying, you know, it'll knock Starfield down a peg at least. But we'll see. But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out, showing live, and like and subscribe. Let me know about the layoffs. How you feel about that? Sony, you know, PlayStation. They're PlayStation layoffs, not Sony. PlayStation specifically. I think it was a lead level designer and somebody, I can't remember what the other one is. And yeah, you know, anything else y'all want to zip zap and talk about in the thing? I mean, look, like I said, we're still in the aftermath, the afterglow of this whole ABK deal going through. And I'm watching clips on X, on Twitter. These ponies are coping real hard. There's one with Porter Rock watching. He's like, and they put clips of all the bugs of Spider-Man. It's pretty funny. I was like, okay, that's a good one. There's a bunch of crazy clips on from Spider-Man. I'm like, wow, that's a collision issue right there, because half the bike is in the ground. I'm like, you're riding a bike? Riding a bike? Really? That's okay. Sure. Look, if they wanted Spider-Man to be really special, really like boombastic and big and stuff, it would be more like Grand Theft Auto. Steal cars, do whatever you want. I mean, you got the Venom suit, right? You got the symbiote suit, you got the black suit, so you're a little evil. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know Spider-Man doesn't steal cars, but I'm saying, you know, maybe he can call up his spider motorcycle. Isn't that canon? I don't know. He's got a vehicle. So, you know, drive around. Let's go. You know, doesn't it like drive up the side of buildings and stuff? I don't know. Anyway, tangent. But I appreciate y'all once again. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Till the wait.